National Beer Day. We are celebrating the world's most popular alcoholic beverage with some of South Florida's local brews. Today's a great day to support local businesses, so go ahead, head on over to Happy Hour. Have one for me, have one for you. Go support your local brewery. They are waiting for you. Cheers, South Florida.
Yes.
Bottoms up to you. Welcome to Six in the Mix. I'm Joanna Gomez. I'm not as lucky as Jen is, though, with all the beer there, so I'm just going to stick to sparkling water.
I was just going to call you out on that and say there is no beer that color. Hey there, Joe. I'm Jen Herrera. You are so missed in the studio today, regardless of what you're drinking, though. Salud, mi amiga. Lots of beer trivia coming your way throughout the show today. Ooh, wow, that does smell good, so stick around for that. But first, Tina Fey is bringing us more laughs to the small screen.
On the runway, to the runway. Fashion life.
What the hell are you doing? Take that scarf off. You want to get sucked into an engine?
Sorry, sir.
Oh, that's your first look at Peacock's new series, Girls 5 Eva. It stars Sarah Bareilles, Renee Elise Goldsberry, Busy Phillips, and Paula Pell. The original comedy series, which is being produced by Tina Fey, follows a one-hit wonder 90s girl group that gets a second chance at fame. Girls 5 Eva will be available on May 6th.
Partially, you want to ask why. Why did this happen? Why did, I'm gonna say it, why did you do this to me?
Cheryl Underwood is sharing her thoughts about her former co-host Sharon Osbourne leaving the talk after their heated debate over Osbourne's support of her longtime friend and former America's Got Talent co-star Piers Morgan and the comments he made about Meghan Markle. On her podcast, Underwood said she still loves the Osbournes, but she wants to be clear she is disappointed and she's just trying to navigate her feelings. The talk, will return without Osbourne on April 12th. Oscar nominees and their guests are now considered essential workers. According to Variety, a letter went out earlier this week explaining that the Oscars is being considered a production like a movie, and therefore those attending, including the nominees, are essential workers in Los Angeles. This means their quarantine rules will be different than non-essential workers. Reps for the Academy have not commented. The 93rd Academy Awards will air on April 25th. Speaking of the Oscars and former Oscar winners.
Or maybe The Rock is gonna face Rikishi. Beat Rikishi. I did it for The Rock.
That's what I love about these high school girls, man. I get older, they stay the same age.
Ladies and gentlemen, those are the two people who a majority of Americans would like to see run for office. This, according to a new poll. The research platform, People Say, revealed that 58% of those asked said they would want to see Oscar winner Matthew McConaughey run for the governor's seat in Texas and want Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to run for president. Both actors have hinted that there could be some interest when it comes to getting into politics. But get ready to lace up your shoes and ride it out for the Miami Dolphins Challenge Cancer event that's taking place this weekend. If you haven't signed up, it's okay. You can still donate. You have until April 23rd. Here are some of the details.
To have an organization like the Miami Dolphins to say, we're going to make a $75 million commitment to help with research, to help with treatment, and all of those proceeds going to Sylvester Center is huge, right? So it's made a huge impact to know that an organization is helping to raise so much funds, because it gives people going through a diagnosis of cancer hope and a sense of community, knowing that they're actively working to making sure they get the best type of treatment possible.
A lot of people have been affected, by cancer. I'm here today for all those people.
Yeah, there is something about hope that kind of just keeps everything together. Joanna, what a lot of people probably don't know about you is that you used to be a Miami Dolphins cheerleader. You are also a journalist. You've worked here in our community, and now full circle, you have made your way back to the Miami Dolphins as a manager of the cheerleaders, but you're also a breast cancer survivor. What does this mean to you to see the Miami Dolphins organization do this challenge to raise money to help people like you, people like me, and so many others that have unfortunately been impacted by cancer?
You said it right. It's completely a full circle moment, because I've always been behind the scenes right, of like seeing what they do for the DCC, seeing how they raise funds and wanting to be a part of it to help raise funds. But it hits different, right? It hits closer to home when you get that diagnosis. It's still raw for me because I'm coming on the other side of 6 months of going through the entire process. It's just this surreal feeling of, wow, I get it now. Now you know that they're actually putting dollars into something, to an organization that can really help save your life. They've saved mine.
Yeah, and we're both living proof of that, to be honest with you. Okay, so we're all up for a good challenge and we're ready to sweat. You're also a spin instructor, so this is probably going to be a little bit easy for you. So the DCC challenge is you can either choose between a 100-mile, a 50-mile, or a 15-mile. I'm just curious, which one are you doing?
Coming on the other side, I'm still going through physical therapy. I wish that I was ready to say that I was gonna do the spinning and do the 50-mile ride or the 100-mile ride. But I'm gonna do the 5K this year. I'm gonna take it a little bit easy since I'm just coming off my surgeries and treatment.
What advice do you have for people that are getting ready to be part of the challenge and to do either the 15, 50, or the 100? And I'm just gonna be very honest, I did the 15 and it was hard, girl.
It's hard, right? It's hard. That's why people are like, oh, I can do spinning. I'm like, but can you? Do you know how hard it actually is, right?
It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard, but it's not impossible, right? The second you tell yourself, I got this, I can do it, you'll be able to face that challenge and succeed at it.
What can they expect once they make their way out there?
Of course, because we're still in a pandemic and because of COVID, things are a little bit different, but doesn't mean you're not going to feel that community, that love, and unity. Again, for what we stand for, one team, one fight, they're going to feel that once they get there.
We are setting out to do something that the world has never seen, and that is to create the professional women's tackle football league.
Coming up, my conversation with the CEO of the WFNC, Odessa Jenkins, and what we moms can do to help our daughters who want to be professional athletes.
Oh, Odessa is impressive, and I just want to take a moment to say, Joanna, you and Joanna Torres are impressive as well. Two Joes who I've had the pleasure of working with. You guys are courageous women. You're fighters. And I'm going to cheers to you on this National Beer Day. There's so much to celebrate here on Six in the Mix. We want to thank our local brewers for sharing their creations with us. I mean, check all of these out, made locally. Here's a question, though. Do you know just how much beer people drink every year? Spoiler alert, it's a lot. We're going to have the answer right after the break.
I asked you, how much beer do humans consume? Jen, you were right. It is a lot. Here's the answer. Over 50 billion gallons every year. Are you surprised? I'm not, but that's a lot.
Today, women get about 0.4% of the funding that's going into sport. This had to do with, sure, a little bit of financial investment from me and some other people, but for the most part, this has been savvy strategy, using the resources that are already here and getting sponsors that believe in women's sports.
And she is so smart. Football is getting a little bit more exciting. Odessa Jenkins tells me all about her experience on running a league, and she also tells me how us women have to change the way we look at things in order for the things we look at can change.
There are about 1,100 women that play in the WNFC. We have about 300 coaches. So we have teams. We have a team down in Florida, the Florida Avengers. Y'all got to check them out. But we have teams all the way from Washington, D.C. to Seattle, Washington. So there are 20 teams in the league. It's completely national. We are growing, and there are thousands and thousands of women, and frankly, girls who love this league and love this sport.
I'm a mother of two young girls. My co-host is also a mother of two young, beautiful, talented, athletic girls. One of them plays softball. She is amazing. She's on track, to be a big star. But when you think of how long is she and all these other young girls going to have a career playing their favorite sport, you think, well, maybe not that long because there's not a lot of money invested in women's sports. Do you agree with me? Is that our problem as women, or is it the world overall?
It's starts with our problem. I believe in accountability. I believe that women are already more empowered than we think we are. I just think that we have to open our minds, which is what we've done with the WNFC. I believe that as women, we are empowered. We should start with using our own resources. If you believe that your daughter should play after the fact, don't start looking for professional women's softball leagues to invest in. And if it doesn't exist, start it. The other thing is 50% of chief marketing officers are female. Women making these decisions on where to put marketing dollars.
So if we are the buying power, why is it that women's sports isn't as popular as men's sports?
You're so right. 75% of the household financial decision making is made by a woman. But if you don't see it, you didn't know the WNFC existed. So how would you even know to go buy a ticket? I think we got to point more cameras at it. We got to make more of an investment in it. And frankly, when you do see it, when it does come up, watch it, invest in it, buy it. And I think that's how we change what's happening in our world. But the world is already changing.
I know that you say that we've come a long way, but I still feel that we have a long way to go, especially when it comes to getting paid equally.
You'll say, well, women don't generate as much revenue. Well, that's nuts. Things that bring eyeballs to sports. If we look at social media, women's sports is some of the highest engaged content on the planet. So for everybody to say you got to earn it first before we invest in you, that's actually backwards. That's not how the model works. So for you to say that women's sports has to have a different tier, we have to earn it before you invest in us. We're never going to get to that place if somebody doesn't see the value, understand the value, and make the investment.
Hey everyone, Anais Grullón here, and after the break, you might want to get your cell phone handy because I've got some must-have items that are bound to sell out, so you'll want to add them to your cart before they do.
Oh, Anais, she's always got great advice for us. On this National Beer Day, another trivia question for you. What is the oldest beer brewery in the country? Now, here's a hint. Don't Google it, though. Really think about it. It dates all the way back to 1829. The answer after the break. Before the break, we asked about the oldest brewery in the U.S. And if you guessed Yuengling in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, then you are correct. It started back in 1829 by German immigrant David Yuengling. And here's another fun fact to survive during Prohibition. The company actually made ice cream, which, by the way, can still be purchased today.
Moving along to buy or not to buy, that is the question. What are the must-haves for this month? So let's check in with lifestyle contributor Anais Grullón, who's going to tell us what we should add to our carts.
Hey Joe, hey Jen. So spring break is officially done. Now, what is it that you have to do? You have to add these items to your cart because they are bound to sell out. So grab your laptops or your cell phone and be adding these to your cart, because I want to make sure you snag them before it's too late. Spring is a perfect time for that spring garden to come into full bloom. And guess what shoe is bound to sell out? Crocs. With celebs like Pharrell, Ariana Grande, and Justin Bieber, there is no doubt that Crocs are the shoe for spring 2021. I myself snagged a pair last year and can tell you I was a no way I'm not wearing Crocs girl to pretty much living in them. And when it comes to your outdoor must-have, take a look at how cool this is and why you should be adding it to your cart too. Must-have item, an inflatable kayak. These seem to be super popular, and now even more, being that we are gearing up, getting close to summer days. Who doesn't want to go kayaking? And these are a great way to start off if you may not want to invest initially into a kayak or don't even know if you like the sport. There are all different sorts of price points, but you can snag some for as low as $100, such as this one. While you're kayaking or maybe doing any sort of outdoor activities, a straw or brim hat is another must-have items. There are so many great options at super low price points, such as this Quicksilver one that I found on Amazon for $20. And trust me, I have been a fan for quite some time. And the great thing about these straw hats is that everyone can use one. Here's my little one and myself catching some sun at the beach.
And take a look at this.
Add it to your cart now because there is no reason why you shouldn't already be using sunscreen, but you're definitely going to want to choose your favorites and add them to your cart now, especially with the hotter and brighter days ahead.
Whichever of these items you're adding to your cart, remember to stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, and until next week.
Add this to your belly. Take a look. Krispy Kreme has two new sweet creations. The Oreo cookie glazed donut that I just want to grab and just eat. And the Oreo cookie over the top donut. Oh, that looks so good. This is the first time the company has teamed up with another brand in order to create a new glaze. The limited edition treats are only available through April 18th, so make your way there as quickly as possible because you better believe that I am going to be trying that, along with a Jamaican dish that I will be showing you in just a couple minutes right after the break.
Oh, and Joe, you know what goes really good with Jamaican food? Beer, of course. There are so many options. We want to thank our local breweries for sharing some of their best brews with us here on 6 in the Mix. And we have another beer question for you. I mean, these are funny. Tourist trap. All right, what are the 4 main ingredients needed to make beer? Think about it. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. So here are the 4 main ingredients to make beer: water, grains, hops, and yeast. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. But of course, breweries like to get creative and play around with different flavors to bring you a unique experience every single time. And here's some fabulous food to go with your beer.
Around this time of year, we celebrate the Jamaican Carnival. Unfortunately, this year, the Carnival was canceled. However, I'm still going to bring to you a little bit of the festivities in your own home, so you can still enjoy a little bit of the spirit of Carnival. 2 simple dishes that we do here at Jerk. They're staple on our menu. It's jerk fried rice and jerk quinoa. And jerk is simply Scotch bonnet pepper, ginger, onion, scallion, and thyme blended together with a little browning. This is what the finished products look like. So we started with a little bit of oil in both pots, and then we're going to add some festivities. Some red peppers, green peppers, yellow peppers, and diced onions. Then I'm going to add the rice in one. I'm going to turn it down because I don't want it to burn. Then I'm going to add the quinoa in one. A little bit of wet jerk, the ones that we blended. A little bit of wet jerk for both. You continue to toss them around because you don't want them to stick or burn. I'm gonna add my condiments, jerk seasoning, and then we're gonna add some special seasoning, a little bit of brown sugar, some dry jerk seasoning. Just to finish off the fried rice, I'm adding a tablespoon or a teaspoon for this portion of sesame oil. I'm going to lay the quinoa on a tray, and then I'm going to put it in the oven for about 5 minutes. And there you have it, guys, our jerk quinoa and our jerk fried rice. You can do it by yourself or stop here by Jerk Adventura and try out some of our dishes. Have a great Carnival. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, that looks good, doesn't it? Thank you for that recipe. Also, big thank you to all of our local brewers once again. We'll see you tomorrow.